That's right. Here at Mowers and Blowers, we push them into the garage and they come out driving.
Good morning. How you guys doing? It's Henry at Mowers and Blowers. Welcome back to episode 2 of my DLT 2000 fix. From episode 1, as you guys recall, we troubleshooted the engine and we found 3 bent push rods. The 4th one was missing. So after a couple of comments on that episode, some guys that have had experience, shop guys, told me that missing 4th push rod was probably not removed by the previous owner, but rather it's in the engine. They say that they see it all the time. Push rods sitting on the bottom of the sump cover. Yes, removing the engine, flipping it upside down, and removing the sump cover is a lot of work, especially with a tractor with an electric PTO. Those pulleys are really difficult to take off. But I figured if we put 4 new push rods in there, after peening the valve guides from the overheating of the fins from the massive amount of dried oil covering the fins, it overheated, which caused the head to expand, therefore the valve guide popping out, therefore having all 4 push rods bend. That was probably the cause of the malfunction in this engine. Even if we fixed it, do we want the risk of having a push rod on the bottom of that sump cover? No. Not to mention the fact that the sump cover gasket's probably trashed anyway, so we're gonna have to replace that. Also, the top crank seal could be bad too, which was the reason why all the oil was leaking out on the top. Or the oil could just be from the blown head gasket, which we know at least one cylinder has. Now, I did buy 2 new head gaskets for this engine. It was only $7, and I figured I'd steal the 4 push rods out of a partially built parts engine that I have from that kid who gave me last mother load. So before I fix the head gasket and put 4 new push rods in there, I'm gonna have to take the engine off, remove the sump cover, replace the sump gasket when we put it back, and find that missing push rod. I'm curious myself. I just can't not see whether or not that push rod's in there or not. But we have to replace the sump gasket anyway because I'm sure it leaks really bad, given the amount of oil evidence we have on the engine. So I'm gonna take the engine apart and find that push rod. Okay fellas, as you guys saw, removed the engine from the tractor, put it on side, drained the oil, and I took the sump cover off, and check that out. Look at this evidence right here of this gasket. It is molded and sucked in. See, look, I'm not pushing this. You can see it is now heat molded going in. So the pressure of the vacuum was sucking this overheated gasket inwards, and then when it cooled off, it stayed inwards. So this is evidence right here that the leak was the gasket. The massive leaks. Some parts of it doesn't even have a gasket. And my commenters were correct. There is the missing bent push rod sitting right here. So I'm so happy that I decided to take it apart, because you can't have this rod just sitting inside the engine floating around. You know, it would have gotten stuck eventually with the balancer and caused some catastrophic damage. So removing this was basically my point of taking this engine apart. And also curiosity. I wanted to know where that 4th push rod went. So now we found it. So now we have 4 bent push rods. I'm going to scrape this clean, make my own gasket, and as you can see on the bottom here, look at the sludge.
This oil was just trashed. And if you look at the evidence everywhere, this head has a ton of oil. And we know that this head has a blown head gasket for sure. So that contributed to the amount of oil that's here. I'm not really sure whether or not it's the bottom crank seal, because when I scraped the oil off there, it was pretty dry. So it's questionable whether or not this crank seal is good or not. Problem is, I don't think I have a crank seal. Might have to go order one. Shit. So now I'm gonna remember how these springs went, you know, because the springs connect to the governor bracket over here. There's another spring. Got to remember where these go. And then also connected to a throttle cable right there, throttle linkage. So I'm gonna take the heads off now and change the head gaskets, both. Heads are removed. This one seems okay. I mean, I could still turn it with my fingers, so not great valves. They need lapping. Valve job would be good. A lot of trouble. As we suspected, here is the broken head gasket. Also, if you look inside the cylinder, badly scored. The cylinder is badly scored. Not terribly badly, but pretty badly. On the left side, cylinder's in better condition. It doesn't move around, but a ton of carbon buildup. And this head gasket is really good. No problems with this head gasket. So this head is good. I mean, piston kind of sucks. When I took the spark plug out of here, remember this side was the one that we did not see any signs of starting. Why? The spark plug has no gap. The piston hit it, so that doesn't have a gap. So this wasn't getting any spark. And if it was getting some kind of spark, it wasn't arcing, so it wasn't strong enough to ignite.
So as you saw, I dragged out the other parts V-Twin that I got from that kid. So I was thinking about using the piston in here and putting it in there. So I pulled out the piston. Not gonna work because this V-Twin is a smaller horsepower than the one that I have. The piston is two different sizes. This is the piston from the one off the tractor. This is the piston that had a broken connecting rod off of this parts V-Twin. And as you can see, this one is much smaller, so the pistons don't match, even though the connecting rod may match. And I checked, the heads are identical.
Identical.
The good thing is, I'm gonna take these heads off and put them on that one because these heads have no problems. One of the heads on that side has a valve guide that came all the way out, not a little, all the way out. Those heads on that original one are overheated, expanded, warped. They're no good. So I'm gonna use these heads, put it on there. How do I know that these heads are better? Because it has 4 perfect push rods. And there's no signs of a lot of oil leaks and overheating, whereas that one does. So I'm gonna put the heads on that one, and the head gaskets are good on this one. However, the diameter of this hole is smaller, even though it does fit. So you can see I'm preparing this side for the new head gasket. This is the one I just bought for $6. I mean, it's okay. This is the original.
The original's in good shape. And it seems less cheap, if you know what I mean. Like this is kind of puffy, you know, the cheap $7 one. But this one's an OEM one from Kohler. And, well, I guess if you look there, it's starting to go. So I guess I'll use the new one. Even though I think the OEM one looks better. But I could tell over here it's starting to crack a little. And that's where it usually blows. So yeah, I'll use the new one. As you can see with the dowel pins, it fits perfectly. I want to show you also the valve guides on this one. As you can see, there's a valve seal over here. And the valve guide stops there. This is the head from this engine. The valve guide is up to here. It should be all the way down there. So this popped out all the way up to here. So this is a bad head. I mean, you could probably tap that down to the level, then peen around it. But why bother doing that when I have a good head? Cleaned up the surfaces of the sump, cleaned up the surfaces of the block. Timing is still correct, never removed it. Put both push rods on one, both push rods on the right, put both heads back on. Didn't put the valve covers on because we're gonna adjust the valves once again after this is all put together. So now I'm gonna put ultra red RTV silicone around it and at least put the sump on. My back is killing me. Lot of work, lots of work, but I enjoy doing this kind of stuff. It is kind of a mess. Good thing that we don't have any rain scheduled for the next few days. So I mounted the engine, got a lot more things to do, but my back is killing me. I've been out here for 5 hours straight. So I'll come back tomorrow to finish this up. We got a new cylinder head on here, 4 new push rods, made a brand new gasket from RTV. I wanted to use this engine because the other engine, the pistons were too small. And also it looks like the magneto and all the wiring was chewed up by mice. So that one may have actually more problems than this one. I think it'll run. Although we do have the same piston that I was worried about. Could smoke a lot, you know. But I mean, I inspected it. It looked okay. It wasn't really that scored at all. See what happens tomorrow. We'll see you later.
Oh, good morning. It's the next day. Remember my back was hurting yesterday? I think I tweaked something when I was lifting the second V-Twin out. I didn't realize how heavy it was. I was pulling up and it felt, ooh, right there. That's when you know you did something to your back. Anyway, I had to cover this up because we were expecting rain overnight. And it did rain. Today we're gonna button up everything here, all the connections, completely mount the engine on here. Gonna give it a try, see if it cranks and turns and goes vroom and starts for the first time. I gotta clean up that electric PTO down there because it's like 2 inches of grease on top of it. Also put a battery on it too.
Hey, Henry, you should wear a back brace.
Alright, as you guys saw, I did a valve adjustment on all these. Found some extra bolts to hold the tins in because they were all missing. I still do have to put the cover back on. Did all the linkages, throttle control, choke control. I put a car battery in there because I don't have any more batteries. And I mean, it fits. If it fits, I send it. I put 1 quart of SAE 30 oil in there right now. As you guys know, I'm infamous for pouring stuff in and comes right out, so I just poured 1 quart, see if there's any leaks. Seems like the crank seal on the bottom's good. I don't see any leaks so far, so it's really good. The hard part was putting the drive pulley in there, then the heavy electric PTO in there, and when I was down there routing the drive belts, I noticed the pulley wasn't moving. The idler pulley, or the tensioner, whichever. This pulley is Dunsky. Look at that. It was seized for a while, and the belt just kept on rubbing almost halfway through, a third through the entire pulley. This is really bad. There ain't no way this thing ran. I mean, it didn't move for sure. I have to go find another pulley. Found one. It's a little bit bigger than this one. But if you look at the area space, it's the same. Just has a bigger lip. Also, this part has a 2-inch piece that sticks up. I didn't have that, so I have this. So I'm going to put this in. All right, here's the moment of truth, fellas. All that work. Gas is connected, fuel pump connected. Should be some gas in there. Blowing some jism, choked. Will it start with 4 new push rods, a new head gasket, and a whole bunch of other shit? Right. It went vroom! We got some leakage going on over here. I can't even blow in there. Sounds great! However, the throttle doesn't seem to be controlling anything. Like, I'm moving this stuff around, nothing's moving. So I got the linkage wrong. And also, I mean, it seems like the carburetor's blocked. Like, not, like when I blow through this hose into the carburetor, you can't blow. So that's why all the fuel is being backed up by here, because it's, but it's running though. How is it running with no fuel going in there? You know what I mean? So there's something's up with the carburetor, and also the linkage is jacked up. I don't know what's up with that. But how about it, fellas?
Runs and sounds great.
So as you saw, I removed the old carburetor off of this V-Twin, and this carburetor has been through some shit. It's rusty in areas, and for some reason, I don't think the fuel pump's the problem. It seems like it's pushing too much fuel in here, and it's not allowing the fuel to go in. So all the fuel was spreading out over here. So I removed this part to check out the diaphragm. Everything looked okay. In the bowl gasket stretched like twice the diameter, so I can't use this anymore. The bowl in it isn't terrible. It's got some varnish and rust and corrosion inside. Intake on the other barrel is all rusted. When you lift the bowl, you can see the nuts are all rusted, right? So inside here, the circuits are not allowing the fuel to go through at a good rate. It's probably still good, because as you heard it, it sounded pretty good. It has problems with the interior fuel input, not allowing enough fuel to go in there. So therefore it's coming out the top. So instead of messing with this, my good friends over at Hipa Parts sent me this about a year ago when I was trying to do a project, but then I ended up selling it. So I have this brand new carburetor for this exact engine, Briggs V-Twin. I figured I'd just put this brand new one in, see what happens.
I can freely blow into it, meaning the fuel is being allowed in. Before the other one, when you try to blow, it feels like something's clogged inside. Also, I zipped off the valve off the fuel solenoid off the original one because it didn't work. Listen to this. So the fuel solenoid actually works on this one. So believe it or not, I'm actually going to keep it on here.
Okay, new carburetors on here. I will say, the V-Twin carburetors are not very easy to put on. Intake manifold, a lot of gaskets. I used 3 gaskets. Ready? Choke, half throttle. Okay, works great. However, we have the same problem. Too much fuel is going in here. Too much. I might have to find another fuel pump. So I changed out a fuel pump. Exact one is this one, Mikuni. They're off of Japanese ones like Kawasaki's. Anyway, believe it or not, it wasn't that at all. It had a split in the fuel line going in there. cut off the end, works perfectly. Also, a screw fell out of the carburetor bowl, so fuel was leaking out of the bowl gasket. I just put a screw back in there and now everything's perfect. Check out how this sounds, fellas. Runs great. Man, oh man, what satisfaction. Very rewarding to remove this engine, take it apart, figure out that you needed 4 new push rods, change the carburetor with a new Hipa carburetor. Now everything works great. We had to troubleshoot a lot of things like replace the fuel pump and all other kinds of stuff, but looks like everything works great. I'm gonna pump up these 2 tires over here, clean up this mess, and it is a mess. My back is killing me. Oh my God. And then you know what? I'm gonna put the deck on. Of course, if I put the deck on, I can't park it in the back. It's too wide to get into the backyard. I gotta put the deck on, see if it works. Okay, let's see if the deck works. Ooh, shouldn't sit on that seat. You'll get gonorrhea. Oh, but you know what? I'm wearing gonorrhea pants. Yeah, riding around another free tractor. Took some doing, but this deck, man, 48-inch deck. I only have to make like 5 passes and I'm done. Seems to mow very well. Good turning radius, steering is pretty good. Engine's running fabulous. I'm so stoked. I didn't think this engine would run. Did you guys think so? Changed the carburetor, 4 push rods, both head gaskets, 1 cylinder head, reconditioned the deck. And now we're mowing the lawn. Very rewarding, very satisfying. Problem is, where am I going to keep this damn thing? It won't fit in my backyard. When the lights work. So that was great. I'm glad it all worked out. It was a lot of work though. I haven't decided what I'm going to do with it yet. Obviously I can't keep it because it has to sit outside. I can't even get it in my backyard. Deck's 48 inches, too wide. Obviously if I wanted to try to sell this for some decent money, I'm going to have to make it one color. Either red or green, right? But looks like I might do it red because resale red, you know? Red sells much better than green. So a little bit of touch-up paint around the body as well as painting the hood. So that's for another episode. I'm spent. My back's killing me. This lever here, if I didn't mention, it's cruise control and it's kind of raggedy and broken, but I guess it works. But I'm stoked, man. Pretty much rebuilding that engine. No leaks, doesn't smoke, which I'm totally surprised and stoked about. And the 3-blade deck works great. Man, I mowed my lawn in like 5 seconds. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Remember to like, share, and subscribe so I can continue to bring you lawn tractor videos like this one. Did you know that 73% of you guys are not subscribed? Check down below. Make sure you're subscribed. Do me a solid. It's free. Free! 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 For free! We'll see you guys next time on Mowers and Blowers. Here at Mowers and Blowers, we push them into the garage, but they come out driving.
I'll see you guys next time on Mowers and Blowers.